Elliotte, do you know what gosh darn time it is? Elliotte Friedman gave us the scoop at 10:46 p.m. PST, June 18th, to talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs potentially making a trade. Late night news out of Friedman at literally 1 a.m. 1, almost 2 a.m. in Toronto. Don't expect this to be finalized until the morning, but there is word the Toronto Maple Leafs and Tampa Bay Lightning are working on a sign-and-trade for defenseman Darren Raddysh. The 30-year-old D-man had a breakthrough 25-26 with 22 goals and 70 points. Now, I wonder what the trade return is going to be for Darren Raddysh. Maybe, it's improper for us to make a video about this trade. I'm going to say it. It's a trade. It's going to happen. Elliotte Friedman's reporting it. Probably be finalized until later tomorrow morning. But what is the return going to be in a Darren Raddysh trade? Well, the amount of people in the reply saying that, maybe it's the first overall pick going over to Tampa Bay. Wow, the Leafs just went from 8th in the Atlantic to 8th in the Atlantic. I swear to gosh, if that idiot John Chayka gifts the Tampa Bay Lightning with the first overall pick, I'm gonna scream. Here's the thing with Darren Raddysh. This is a player that before 25-26, I don't think anybody really thought he was capable of doing anywhere near the damage that he ended up doing. I remember Darren Raddysh because this was the number one defenseman on those Erie Otters teams that played with Connor McDavid back in the day. The 2015-16 team saw Dylan Strome, Alex DeBrincat, Taylor Raddysh, so Darren's brother, with a number of other dudes, Travis Dermott on the blue line, Darren Raddysh, Eric Chernock, and then if you go back to the McDavid year itself, you will find Darren Raddysh as the top producing defenseman behind Connor McDavid, Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Strome, etc. Raddysh was a really interesting prospect back then. He wasn't, huge, but he was right-handed and he could quarterback a power play. There was a lot to like out of Raddysh, but he was taken in none of the NHL entry drafts. He was an undrafted D-man who found himself in the New York Rangers organization and the Chicago Blackhawks organization before going over to Tampa Bay. He had spent some time marinating in their AHL systems for years and years, and then he finally got his first NHL game 4 years ago at the ripe old age of 26. Raddysh became a Tampa Bay Lightning and spent the next few years up and down with their AHL affiliate and NHL team before becoming a full-time Lightning in 2023's Stanley Cup playoff run. Now, granted, they only lasted one round, but Raddysh played all the games, and inevitably found himself on the blue line from 2023-2024 full-time. 33 points in 82 games in his rookie year, 37 points in 73 games the next, and then this previous season he exploded for 70 points, 22 goals and 48 assists in 73 games. Add to this a goal and an assist in 7 playoff games for 2 points, and you have a guy who is all of a sudden one of the highest producing defensemen in the National Hockey League. Darren Raddysh has a one-timer that absolutely bombs, and when it comes to Victor Hedman losing his spot on the Tampa Bay Lightning due to health complications, Darren Raddysh filled in as the number one power play quarterback and just feasted on other teams. Him, Gensel, Hagel, Point, and Kucherov were so good together. And Raddysh ultimately put himself in a spot where, with a contract expiring at the end of 2026, there was always going to be that question, what does he go for? He's going to be making a lot of money because how often does a guy get 70 points in 73 games as a defenseman? Say what you want about whether or not that effort is actually replicatable. But for Darren Raddysh, a player who is a right-handed defenseman, playing a premium position and coming out this late into his career, there was going to be an increase. There was going to be a raise. We just didn't know by how much. To put things into perspective, like, this is my fantasy hockey team from this year. I mean, we're in the off season now, but if we go back over to, I don't know, let's just say, can we do that? Okay, no, it doesn't look like we can. Anyways, I had the very big luxury of having some of the highest scoring defensemen in the league on my team. I had Lane Hudson, I had Evan Bouchard, and then I picked up Darren Raddysh on waivers. This is a guy that nobody had. Except for one of my other buddies who actually had him at the beginning of the year, but then they dropped him for whatever reason, and I picked him up because it was like, hey, Hedman's out. Why not take a chance on Raddysh? And then he legitimately had one of the best seasons out of all of the NHL's defense cores. I mean, just take a look at it right here. NHL league scoring. Go over to the defenseman. Darren Raddysh was, I believe, 4th overall? 4th or 5th? Okay, no, he was 7th. My bad. 4th was Lane Hudson. That's my guy. Excuse me. But Darren Raddysh had more points than Miro Heiskanen, Charlie McAvoy, John Carlson, Jacob Chicherin, Matthew Schaefer, Mikhail Sergachev. So many guys that I don't think anybody really expected Raddysh to have more points than. He had more points than. So ultimately, thinking about what Raddysh was able to accomplish, there's a reason why this guy's going to get paid, and based off of Friedman's report, it seems like the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be the team to do it. We just don't know what they're going to give up to Tampa. If it's that first overall pick, goodness forbid, Gavin McKenna and Nikita Kucherov play together on the same power play, who cares if Tampa Bay doesn't have a power play quarterback on D? They could just toss in anybody to that spot and they'd be fine. JJ Moser, anybody? But first overall pick, I mean, if you're thinking about Darren Raddysh as an unrestricted free agent, the rights to signing this guy, there's value in that, for sure, but maybe not a lot. If you're acquiring Raddysh, however, with the intention of signing him in a sign and trade scenario, you're guaranteed to be able to get a contract worked out and finalized when you're in the midst of making the trade, then it becomes, okay, now there's value here. Darren Raddysh was a 70-point defenseman, a number 1 D caliber guy at 30. Maybe he's on the wrong side of his prime, but still, you would like to have this sort of a talent on your team no matter who you are, especially if you're Toronto and you want to be competitive. Darren Raddysh coming over to the Maple Leafs, he's probably going to get a big money contract. He is from Ontario. He played in the OHL. He played for the Toronto Marlboros U16 Junior AAA club. So obviously there is some history there. And the fact that Raddysh is getting traded to the Maple Leafs in general, that aligns with a lot of the speculation that we had seen earlier in this season. Oh, if Darren Raddysh goes to the market, keep your eyes out because Toronto could potentially sign him. Now, they are going to sign him, but they're going to give some stuff to Tampa first because they want to make sure they get dibs on the guy. Jordan went out there and posted, Darren Raddysh is coming off a breakout season where he posted offensive numbers through the roof. I wonder what the deal looks like. He's got a 94 percentile overall value, according to this model. That's crazy. Please don't give him term, Odeb said. It's 8 years. The only reason they do this, same with Marner. The only reason to do a sign and trade is for 8 years. Why else would you do that? If it's a sign and trade, it's going to be an 8-year deal 100%. Imagine Darren Raddysh till he's 38. Again, he's had one superstar caliber season. My question is, will he be able to replicate that in the years to come? I guess the Toronto Maple Leafs don't have any reservations on it, but they're going to be making sure that decision is well known a few years in, right? So with that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about Elliotte Friedman's report that Darren Raddysh is supposedly going to be signed and traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a deal that will yet to be finalized until the morning? Is it the first overall pick that goes over to Tampa? Who really knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And bye.